Take us away, Bartholomew.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is Saturday night, not Thursday, so kids, if you're up listening, that's totally fine with me as long as it's okay with your parents.
They also should not be listening at all.
They should. They're going to learn lots of things here, especially with Gabe being here.
Oh.
Lots of life lessons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Special guest star today, Gabe. The Gabe and Gabe. The Gabe.
Yes.
The Gabe, you know, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't, but thank you for joining us, everybody. As always, with me is Thomas. And like he said, our special guest star this evening is Gabe, drinking from his stout cup.
I think it's a Stein. Today's going to be really interesting, where we pulled on a resource that we have that is Gabe and conspiracy theories. So we'll be able to really...
I'm your resource for that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll really be able to deep dive into some weird-ass things. And then maybe doing a quiz. But...
Don't know if there's going to be enough time. Don't know if we're going to have the energy. We'll see how it goes.
I've got the energy. I just emptied my bowels, Matt, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So...
Does that give you...
Yours for the evening.
Does taking a giant juice give you energy?
Yes. Have you never gotten the zoomies after you poop? I know Riley does.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I know dogs do. I mean,
oh man, I'm a dog. Anyways, we got to do our shots today. So.
Yes, it is Saturday evening, so shots are not only needed but encouraged. So, Thomas, why don't you go ahead and start us off this fine Saturday night with your shot?
I would love to. So I spent my Saturday afternoon hanging lights, as one does. And this shot goes out to the motherfucker who invented that. Go fuck yourself. I hate you. I hate hanging lights. It's the worst. I almost fell so many times. Go fuck yourself. Oh, I'm drinking tequila, of course, today.
Shots of tequila. Okay, that's what I was just going to ask. What are we shooting tonight?
Nice, and I've got the Wellers if I'm feeling fancy for later. You know.
There you go. Gabe, would you like to go next? Do you have a shot ready, or would you like me to go?
Yeah, I have a shot ready.
Right.
So I was actually in the gym this morning, and I was thinking, New Year's resolutions are coming up, and so I wanted to just say, for anybody who is thinking about joining a gym for their New Year's resolution, just start a month early. And just get that head start, and you'll just be that much better off. So here's to getting a head start.
I feel like that was at me.
It was. 100%.
Shit. Okay, I'll get back in shape. Just give me 6 months. You'll be like, Thomas, where'd you go?
All right. Well, that means that it is my turn, and I picked out one of my wife's lovely shot glasses. I think this one says Paraguay on it.
Mm.
She collects shot glasses from anywhere we go, but we've never been to Paraguay, so I don't know where this one came from.
Could have been a gift from a friend.
More than likely. So my shot is actually the opposite of Thomas's. I want to say thank you to everybody because Thanksgiving is now over. We can start decorating for the Christmas season and getting in the holiday spirit. I absolutely love Christmas. I hung my Christmas lights 2 weeks ago. We got our Christmas tree yesterday. I was building Christmas ornaments today, and yeah. So cheers to the holiday season, and I love decorating for Christmas and making it special.
I figured it out. That Snapchat you sent us of what you were building, you're building nutcrackers.
Dude,
Bingo.
like, as soon as I opened it, I was like, that's really cool. He's building nutcrackers. How did it take you this long?
Well, Gabe, I don't know if you know this, but fun fact, my nickname in college was the Nutcracker. So, we're not going to talk about how. But I'm a little fucking stupid, so that's why I didn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, and once you see them painted, they're going to look totally different, but...
Are they painted now?
No. I spent the whole day building them today, so...
They look freaking cool, so... Also, am I allowed to cuss on here? I haven't watched...
Yes.
Okay, so I have to be honest, I haven't watched a full episode yet, and so...
No one has.
Okay.
Oh, no! Matt's wife actually does. She's our biggest fan.
Hey, doesn't your dad listen as well?
He does. I don't think he finishes them though.
Oh, no.
I
We
think
we do kind of trail off the drunker we get. So.
So it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Especially when we get Daniel here and we start asking too much about food.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a small
Which,
problem.
shout out to Daniel, because I did get homemade gravy this last week for Thanksgiving, thanks to the podcast last week. So thanks to him and my wife for making it. It was amazing.
Nice.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. I love it. I love the food. However, all the butter with this system, I have spent most of the last few days on the toilet.
That's like putting like a diesel in a gas-powered car.
It's pretty fucking similar. I'm struggling right now, but it was worth it.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. To get us on track, today our topic is going to be conspiracy theories, but more specifically, right?
Simulations.
There it is.
Uh,
Whether we're in a simulation, whether we're not, and all the thought process behind that. If you would live in a simulation, the big questions. So let's get into it. Now, I know Matt brought up the topic, so I kind of want you to introduce it as how you see it. I haven't looked into it at all because I wanted to be blank, and I know Gabe probably autistically spent 12 hours on simulation theory. So,
well, okay, I'll get into it when it's my turn.
so Matt,
Well, and if you want to lead us off, Gabe, by all means. I mean, if you have, because I don't know where anybody else stands on this, on the thoughts behind us being, whether we live in a simulation, because the further technologically advanced that we get, you think the thought behind us, like us being in a simulation, is probably totally plausible with the way technology is advancing. And if you figure the technological advances we've made in the last 100 years, it's probably not even that, it's been the last 50 years. And if you just increase that by 1% over the next 10, 100, 1,000 years, how hard would it be to create AI and have them living in a simulation like this?
Exactly.
What if we're AI?
I think I'm too fucking retarded to be AI. First of all,
Well, you can't tell me that they don't make dumb AI. Like, you were a first generation, and they were like, "Yeah, we fucked the pooch with that one."
wait, are you guys telling me you're Siri and I'm Alexa right now?
So there's a lot of obviously thoughts behind it, but Gabe, I'd love to hear your thoughts and the research that you've done on.
All right. So just a disclaimer, like to anybody who's listening, I am just another dude who's looked stuff up on the internet. But it's super funny that you guys asked me to talk about this. A couple weeks ago, I ended up having a conversation, I think, with one of my paramedic partners about this same topic, and it lines up kind of with how I got into this into studying different conspiracy theories, quote unquote. Back in 2019, I kind of jumped into a rabbit hole, and it led down several different conspiracy theories. One of them being like the simulation theory. So I ran into this philosopher, writer, self-publisher called Nick Hinton on Twitter, and I ran into his theory, which was essentially this Saturn time theory. It goes down this rabbit hole of essentially do we live in a simulation or not? So that's kind of like where my experience and research really started, was back in 2019, early 2020, where really the world kind of started getting weirder and shittier, and just went off the deep end in general. And so for me, while I was doing this research, I kept running into different synchronicities And so just the fact that I had this synchronicity that I was talking to somebody about simulation theory a couple weeks ago, and then like a day or two ago, you asked me if I wanted to be on this podcast. So I think I think if you really want to get into the weirdness of simulation theory and all of the AI stuff, whether or not you believe in whether or not you believe that we live in a simulation or not, I think it's interesting that the universe thought that I fit the algorithm to fit in another synchronicity with simulation theory.
Well, shit. This is better than I thought it was going to be. I could agree. It's you get, and it's a big theory. It's a big thing too. It's like, oh, you for some reason, like the law of probability, you think about Ford Rangers all the time, so you see them on the road. Are there more Ford Rangers, or am I'm finally noticing all of the ones that are around me?
Exactly, and it's kind of like I had this. So back in 2020, when I was first starting to research this, I was generally interested in strange phenomena, right? Like everything that was quote unquote supernatural, conspiracy, or way out in left field, right? And the weird thing was that the more I researched, the more I asked the question, what is our reality? The more questions I got back, right? It was the more I searched for weirdness, the more weirdness I found. And so it's exactly like how you said, Thomas. Like the more you look for Ford Rangers, or the more you're thinking about Ford Rangers, the more you see them. Um, Personally, I drive a Jeep, so it's kind of like
We drive Jeeps.
we drive Jeeps. That's right. Yeah,
That's not the flex you guys think it is.
we pay more in gas mileage than any other car.
It's fair. It's so bad. But okay, so let's ask this: if we're in a simulation, what kind of simulation? Are we talking Matrix, where we have real bodies that are in tubes? Are we talking like just where we were developed as AI and it's just code recycling itself? What are we what broad spectrum are we narrowing it down to in your belief system?
Well, Matt, I don't want to.
No, go right ahead.
It's literally why
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Well, this particular simulation theory that I have researched more probably than any other simulation theory, um, it's it's kind of more so. It's an all-encompassing question, like whether or not we live in a simulation, because it affects all aspects of our reality, right? So, um, the Saturn time cube theory is essentially a theory that we live in a simulation developed by an imperfect interdimensional being. Some people call it God. Other people call it aliens. Um, this particular author that I have followed and kind of like looked at his theory. Um, it's essentially a three-dimensional simulation for fourth dimensional beings, essentially, right? So, like how we look at a video game, technically it's a two-dimensional simulation of three-dimensional life, right?
Yeah.
So, essentially, it's the same thing. If you look at a three-dimensional or a fourth-dimensional shape in three dimensions, that's what that's what essentially our reality is simulating. If you put in a certain amount of x variables and a certain amount of y variables, it'll get a certain it would create a certain scenario where where we create where we are today, right?
So you're telling me like we're basically in The Sims.
I mean, technically, we could be.
Well, whoever.
We could be NPCs in somebody else's video game.
And I think this is where a lot of people have like the tough part with this question is, well, if we're in a video game, then what is objective reality, and then what is like what makes objective reality, and why do we care about objective morality or anything that entirely encompasses what makes up Western society today?
Well, Jesus. We're just gonna. Okay, grab that.
You know what? I'll fucking drink to that.
Well, I mean, just you think about another thought process behind it is like, what if, like you said, we're simulants in another dimension or things like that, and when we die, you wake up and you're a 13-year-old that got immersed in a game.
Oh my god!
20 minutes have gone by.
The Roy theory from Rick and Morty. That would blow my mind. I know that I was made by a 13-year-old boy because of the size of my dick. He just took the slider and went. I get it. I totally get it.
Okay, so like, if you think that, then think about my proportions, Thomas. Like, come on. Like, you've seen, like, I'm as short as you make them, and like, it's just whack.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to hold your wiener in your socks usually, so. It could be cool. Imagine that, though. You're right. Like, waking up, you're like, oh, man, I've got to go to school tomorrow. Oh, I can do another lifetime. Pop in, pop out. That would be bananas.
Yeah. I mean, and how far, like I was saying in the beginning, like, how far technologically are we from that? From an Inception type world?
I mean,
to where
look at where most of the like virtual reality or anything like that, like where Meta's going, like the beginning of that technology is already here, and that's only been what 30 50 years in computing science. So if you take the lifespan of the universe and any sort of ratio to how long humans have been alive, humans have been anatomically human, humans have been here for a minuscule amount of time. And so if you think about the law of probability, like if we can't statistically be alone in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
If we're not alone in the universe and something happened to have been developed maybe 100 million years before humans developed, just the immense difference in technological advancement.
If we don't blow ourselves up first.
Well, and the other thought process behind it is like the difference between like humans and apes is like DNA wise is 1%.
I think humans and bananas is like 7%, so there's that too.
So I mean, I think it's actually closer than 7. I think it's a lot closer.
I think it's closer than 7.
But if you think about that, so if that's the difference in 1%, so then what if something is 2% more than us? Like, look at all the things that we are able to do versus bananas and apes, gorillas, things like that. You know, what would another 1% on top of what we already are be? What are the things that you'd be able to think, create, do, and, to the simulation thought process behind it, like, we haven't even touched on, like, the Inception thought process where, like, instead of being awake and having to do things, you can sleep and play a game or do things. Like, doing that kind of stuff while you're sleeping.
That would be so cool.
Like, take 8 hours and you can spend 8 hours playing video games and then wake up feeling completely rested?
We would do that every night. That would just be what we did.
Yeah. It
You know.
would take the place of normal sleep. Yes.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And that's one of the best things I ever heard, like, when I was younger and, questioning faith and humanity and things like that. And like, if you take the genetics behind a person, like the DNA, and you tried to write it in a book, like the book would be like a foot thick. So it's really hard for me to jump to the conclusion that we just randomly happened to be here. There was a design and a thought process behind us being here, whether that was God, whether it's a simulation, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we just poofed we're here or evolved from single cell bacteria and then over millions of years have evolved into this. I don't see that happening. Like
kind of segues into I watched your last episode where you started using segue and just a terminology.
You can't use segue to segue. I fucking can.
I think that kind of segues into back into this particular theory that I've kind of researched. So the Saturn time cube theory is essentially there's a giant 200,000 mile hexagonal storm on the top of Saturn, on the North Pole of Saturn. And the theory is that this hexagonal storm is a giant, essentially quantum computer, only it's made of organic matter instead of like how instead of carbon matter, like how humans have developed their computers. So the theory is essentially that this giant quantum computer on the top of Saturn is is what develops our solar system, because we haven't been able to really reach out beyond our solar system ever since humans have essentially existed, right? And so the theory is that, well, maybe there isn't really necessarily anything truly beyond our solar system, right? That once you hit that once you hit beyond Pluto, there's that invisible wall, right?
The barrier.
But essentially, if you look back in several different ancient religions, especially in Hindu religions, or Hinduism, Buddhism, and ancient civilizations, they all have this theory of cyclical time, right? So you're born into a creation state. So you're created, you live this life, and depending on how that life goes, you're destroyed. And whether or not you're destroyed, depending on how that life goes, you're either reborn into the cycle or you break that cycle, right? This theory is essentially a rebirth of those old religions where I actually have my notes pulled. Where essentially it's that rebirth theory where unless we can break this theory of are we in a simulation or not, we can't essentially exit the simulation until we figure out the truth.
What if it's a test?
Exactly. That's the
thought process.
That's the thought process. Yes.
Do you know what happens, Gabe, when you fold a piece of paper 42 times?
You get 42 creases.
It is long enough to reach the moon. If you fold a piece of paper in half 42 times, it's long enough to reach the moon.
I think I knew that.
Probably.
I don't know.
I was just throwing something out there because I have no idea what to say. I mean, are we in a simulation? Probably.
I don't think it's impossible, but I think it asks the question that a lot of people are uncomfortable even considering, and I think that's why a lot of people are even concerned with um, what's happening with NASA, the over at CERN with the hadron colliders and parallel universes.
Yes, people were super concerned about the Hadron Collider, which fair, because if it breaks, it could blow us up.
Well, it won't blow us up. It'll create a black hole, which would implode our solar system. But
So it would blow us in?
I guess it would suck us.
it would suck us.
It would be
would suck everybody at one time.
World's best head. You got it. Universe's best
I would
head.
say the world is probably 50-50 on whether they want that done or not.
It's possible. But, I mean, okay. So, say we're in a simulation, but how do we know that the person that's in the simulation, that's controlling our simulation, isn't also in a simulation that's in a simulation that's in a simulation, and it's just an old dude in his underwear in his mom's basement, like 15 cycles down?
Well, at that point, you can ask yourself the question, who is God? And then it becomes a philosophical question.
Yeah, then it's weird. I gotta go get that toga out from my closet.
And I think at the center of this question, like, do we live in a simulation? I think that's honestly the answer, is the question, like, who do you think God is? And so, not to really be, not to kind of like self-plug the Catholic Church, but I think they have it right. Like, if you look at any sort of mythological polytheists, monotheists, even agnostics, atheists, there is an imperfect leap of faith until you reach the Catholic canon, where you reach a perfect God who essentially creates, not necessarily for entertainment or anything else, but for his unknown godly reasons, that he creates essentially a simulation of what it would be like to create a imperfect being in his image.
Damn, we really just went there.
Yeah, I did.
I was hesitant when thinking about this topic of bringing up the religion aspect, knowing that obviously you said how your thoughts and beliefs. I wasn't. If you weren't comfortable bringing it up, I don't like to do that kind of stuff. We all know Thomas's thoughts and beliefs. So,
yeah, big titty bitches.
Mind blown.
I literally, because I came in blank, so now I'm just like, oh no.
So then, like, with the simulation theory, does that strengthen the beliefs that you have? Does it make you conflicted on beliefs? Where does that sit with you on that aspect?
I think personally, I haven't quite asked myself that question enough yet to really kind of give a confident answer. I think that the Catholic Church has most of the truth in what it teaches. Most of the truth. I think there are some flaws, but I think that in relation to simulation theory, it doesn't quite matter, because whether or not the monotheistic or triune God is in the fourth dimension, in the fifth dimension, or even 15 dimensions deep, it doesn't quite matter because the truth is still there.
It doesn't matter anyways, because we find out. What the fuck are we gonna do about it? I tell you what, I'm still going to work on Monday.
That's what we're gonna do.
You know,
I don't know.
you know, like we find out. Okay, cool. It's just
That's the thing about these rabbit holes, Thomas. Like that's one thing I've realized about these rabbit holes is you can go as far deep in these rabbit holes as you can go, but in the end of the day, in the end of the day, you're still gonna drive down to your gas station. You're still gonna buy a Snickers when you're filling up your car, and you're still gonna drink a Coca-Cola with your dinner. So
yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it's interesting because what if like we are in a simulation, but then we learn how to pull up the command prompt, you know, just start like bringing things into existence.
Like we get the glasses like in Free Guy, and you're like,
Yeah!
what is this?
I can tell you right now, I would be the worst superhero. 100% the worst superhero. Oh, someone's like, I'm like in my room like an angsty teen. My dad will come in like, hey, don't you need to save the city today? Oh, just really don't feel like it. Fuck.
that's when you just pull up the command menu and you're just like save city.
Save city. It's cool to think about, but it really doesn't matter. I'm still gonna.
I think it explains like a lot of the times with like it could explain a lot of deja vu type things where things are getting corrected, getting changed, you know, kind of like the
Patches.
Mandela patch. Really, I mean, kind of like the Mandela effect things. I mean, how many things are there out there that people know for certain? There's like there was a Sinbad movie where he was a genie.
No, there wasn't.
I don't know if you guys ever. Yeah, there. If you ask,
Exactly.
exactly, if you ask so many people, or that Nelson Mandela died in prison, like there's people that remember watching his funeral on TV.
I think I need a recent.
That's actually where the Mandela effect
that's
originally started.
entirely another rabbit hole that I will willingly go down if you want to. But
Well, that was kind of where I got started with the whole simulation theory. Is those small changes that are able to be made if we're in a simulation. That I mean, you can't erase our memories.
Or can you?
So we remember these things. Well, obviously they can't, because otherwise, why would we remember some of this stuff? Like, who makes stuffing?
Like, stovetop?
Like, stovetop. Yes, I remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. There's no such company as Stouffer's, and I can remember.
Doesn't Stouffer's make lasagna?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that is, yeah.
But there's a lot of those Mandela effect type things that people have, like people would fight you about them, saying that it's certain.
like the Bernstein Bears.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that one was disproven because it was said in the TV show, which a lot of kids saw when they were, TV day. In the TV show, they say it differently than it's spelled. And that's where that comes from.
Or
But
the Monopoly Man. Does he have a monocle?
Oh. He had one in Family Guy. That might be weird. There's explanations, too. Like the little...
Is there?
Yeah. Some of it. I don't know.
Or did they make Family Guy so they throw you off?
Could be.
Exactly.
Could be. The admins, the dickheads.
Putting my fucking foil hat on right now.
I should have wore one. I should have made that.
I just gotta. There we go.
So, but there's definitely a lot of thoughts and interesting processes behind it for sure.
Oh, it's super cool. It's super interesting. Again, it's like one of those things. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, but it's still pretty fucking cool to think about.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things about kind of just looking into any sort of quote unquote conspiracy theories, especially like synchronicities or anything interplanetary, especially anything that has to deal with space. I feel like there is a high strangeness to it, and the more you look into that strangeness, the more strangeness you'll find. And I always find that to be the most interesting part of
That is
looking
pretty
into
cool.
anything.
That is pretty cool. But it goes both ways. Like looking into spooky stuff, you start looking into spooky stuff, and then spooky stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of stuff, like, okay, I don't want to like.
No, you know what, Matt? If we're in a simulation, the ghosts are real, and they're a fucking NPC mob. All right, go fuck yourself.
How are ghosts real if we're in a simulation?
Because they've coded it in, and it's a thing. It's them fucking with us.
They're NPC mobs.
Makes no sense. No sense.
No, it does.
Your theory has no legs. It's not running.
You're right, because it's a ghost.
Yeah.
They float. I see right.
Why did they float?
Why don't you float?
Why
Because they
don't I
don't have
float?
legs. That's why.
Because whoever programmed the simulation added in gravity.
Well, whoever programmed the simulation for the ghosts didn't add in gravity.
No, because they didn't program in the ghosts. Yeah. Ghosts aren't real, Thomas.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Okay.
How will we see?
We'll see. We'll go on a like a little. We'll stay at like a ghost place.
A ghost place?
Oh, there's so many
Is there
ghost
like
hotels.
Is there a ghost inn that I'm unaware of?
There's like a lot.
There's a couple in California that my family has had experiences at. Yeah.
Also, people just die in hotels by the droves. If you weren't aware of that.
People die everywhere.
Almost as bad as hospitals.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about, Matt. Like, people die in people will go to hotels just to die, just like hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you laid in a hotel, if you laid, I think, in like over 100 hotel beds, and you've laid in the same bed as a dead body.
Dude.
Probably the same sheets. They don't change that.
Oh
shit.
yeah, they don't change that shit at all.
Well, they wash them. Yeah.
They don't watch.
Matt, they don't watch them.
What hotels are you going
Okay, yeah, we're not talking about the Motel 6, all right, Matt?
You bashing on Motel 6?
Fuck yeah, I've never been in one.
Yes.
Because
Holiday Inn for ya.
Holiday Express, Holiday Inn is where it's at.
Embassy Suites, baby. We're talking. We have money.
Pretty
Okay.
good.
The shittiest hotels I've ever stayed at were the government ones on TDYs on base, fucking lodging, and just like.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But Matt, if I'll accept we're in a simulation when you accept that ghosts are real.
I'm not 100% certain we're in a simulation.
Well,
I'm just saying.
100% on
I
both.
will say, I do believe if we are in a simulation, we do not have bodies outside of it somewhere that robots are using to charge us or charge their batteries. I don't think that we are human batteries like in the Matrix.
No, it's AI.
I love the premises behind the Matrix. I love the thought process. I actually recently watched the new one. I thought it was phenomenal. But I don't think there were batteries for robots.
Yeah, we're probably just NPCs. I wonder who the main character is then. I wonder if it was Hitler and we fucked up.
Well, he would have respawned by now, man. So
It's Sleepy Joe right now.
No, if it's anyone, it's
Somebody's running a character.
it's that one dude who's an asshole. What's his name? Women hate him.
Andrew,
Yeah, it's Andrew Tate. If it's anyone after Hitler, it's Andrew Tate.
No, if you think about it, like if we're NPCs and somebody's the main character, isn't it somebody like fucking Snoop Dogg?
Oh, he has completed the main
Like-
story. He's just doing the side quests now.
Like he's just like he fucking has a Twitch account and plays video games. Pretty sure he plays Warzone.
He does, and he's good.
I have no doubt that he's good because he has nothing better to do at this point.
He's
He
good.
gets high and fucking plays video games.
He does live his life. It's either him, maybe it's Elon. Could be Elon.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's multiple. I mean, maybe it's like a civilization type sim where we've got several people who are battling each other. You know,
Ah.
Elon's character's going for all technology.
What is India's character going for then? Being assholes?
The dictator of North Korea is going for power. I mean,
he's going military. Russia and China, military victories.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options out there.
Or we could literally just be people because of luck, and we're here, and we'll destroy ourselves eventually, or we won't. We're like,
I think that's just part of the simulation. If you add a certain amount of X and a certain amount of Y and a certain amount of Z, you get what we have now.
yeah, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice, a little bit of everything nice.
Yeah,
We just need to get the chemical X going, and then we're rocking with it.
exactly.
I guess that begs the question of like the afterlife and all that mess. But I mean,
Well, that's where you come back to the philosophical question of like, who is God? Is time cyclical, or is fate predetermined?
what if we're moving backwards through time? What if you're born old and then you slowly get young?
Well,
We don't, though.
But what if you're supposed to? Benjamin
What if
Button.
we're supposed to?
Yeah. What if like the kid just like pressed a key on the computer wrong and he went to go take a shit, and in that amount of time all this stuff has happened, and he comes back and he's just like, oh no.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Why you can't be born old? Like, so you're saying you came out of somebody old, and so you got old, and then the younger you get, then at some point you're gonna sneak back into somebody's vagina.
You never know, man. You're just gonna. It's like a gravitational pull too.
you would just shrink into a baby, then a fetus, and you would grow an umbilical cord to nothing, and you would die.
Yeah, I understand. I don't have any ground to stand on, but I was just asking the question. I was asking the questions. Okay, someone has to ask the questions.
Well, I kind of hate to have kind of ended this conversation so early. It's only been about 48 minutes as far as my clock is concerned, but I mean, like,
We usually try to take it about an hour, and we got some time for questions here.
And maybe our quiz.
Quiz. Do you guys want to take the quiz?
I kind of do.
It's kind of a fun quiz.
Yeah,
I've heard about this quiz for like 2 days now.
we got plenty of time. Let's take the quiz.
All right. Well,
Load me up, Big
Let
Papa.
let me get it pulled up.
Perfect.
So this is a 90s quiz.
Okay.
Lots of
Born in the late 90s. No
Huh?
memory.
late 90s. So this covers a lot of just random stuff. You might know it, you might not. I will say that I knew almost every one when I was reading it before I got the answers.
Well, you did grow up in the 1900s, so that makes sense.
I did. My wife told me to tell you that you make me sound super old when you say I grew up in the I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that's the reason he says.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going for.
All right. How do we want to do this? Do you guys want to answer one then the other? Do you want to buzz
Together.
in?
We're gonna do it together.
All right.
So like, every question you ask, just count down from 3, and then we'll answer together.
All right. Okay. So, who was elected in 1992 and then re-elected in 1996?
Bush Senior.
George Bush.
Bill Slick Willie Clinton.
Oh, see now, and I liked him. First of all, he brought America out of recession.
Weirder than that, though.
He did do that. He was actually a good president. And secondly, he was slinging his dick, and I can respect that in a president.
Okay, so like Bill Clinton, besides the like whole like thing, like yeah, you were right. Like policy wise, he was a good president.
Great president.
But like,
And he really likes cigars.
Oh,
Flavorful cigars.
and he was
cigar can be good.
he was just a slut.
I can be behind a good cigar.
He was just a slut. It happens. It happens to the best of us. He was going through his whole phase.
All right. What was the top-selling video game console of the 90s? 3, 2, 1.
Super Nintendo.
GameCube.
Gabe, the GameCube wasn't out then.
Are you
It
sure?
was. It was the Super Nintendo.
It was the Super
For
Nintendo.
bonus points, how many units were sold?
I don't fucking know.
49.1 million units of Super Nintendo were sold.
Holy shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yes, it was the GameCube didn't come out till like the mid 2000s.
Are you sure?
100%.
Nah.
A sheep was cloned for the first time in the 90s. What was its name?
A shape?
3. Sheep.
A what?
Sheep.
Sheep.
Animal? Bah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Little Bo Peep?
Nope.
I have no fucking
Frank.
idea.
I don't know.
I distinctly remember watching this on the news. The sheep's name was Dolly.
Pardon? All right, I can see that. All right,
Okay.
sure.
All right. In the 90s, what wide leg jeans became a fashion staple for teens and tweens? 3, 2, 1.
Wranglers? Riley?
Wranglers definitely do not make a wide leg jean.
I don't know.
I don't even know another jean brand.
Levi's?
The jean brand was named Janko.
Oh, it's the scene jeans. The fucking weirdos wore them.
Yeah, a lot of goth wore 'em. Like, they were like huge bottom jeans.
Oh, okay, yeah, like giant. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
The people that dance,
Yeah. Thomas got it. Yeah.
All right. What does the abbreviation AOL stand for?
I missed the question.
What does the abbreviation AOL stand for?
America Online.
That is
Damn,
correct.
You got it before I did.
I had an AOL. I shouldn't have. I was probably getting like
But yeah, I have a Gmail.
I had an AOL. I was probably getting groomed by predators the whole time, but I had one.
I'm sure they were grooming you very well.
Yes, thank you. All right, Maddie.
I mean, like, you turned out well, so I mean, like,
Eh.
What
probably
band?
like 9 out of 10 would traffic you. Yeah.
What band wrote the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit"?
Backstreet Boys?
No.
I have no idea. I don't think I've heard that song.
You definitely have.
Oh,
The band is Nirvana.
Oh,
was it?
Nirvana.
No
isn't
way.
that Kurt Cobain?
Wait.
Oh, I have his microphone in my gun safe.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't think-
yeah, I've heard the song. I just couldn't remember who.
I don't think anyone got my joke there.
Well, yeah,
That's yeah.
I specifically chose to skip over it.
Okay. Not everybody has that deep throat scratch that Kurt did, so it's okay.
Which two boy bands were at their peak in the 90s?
Oh,
3, 2, 1.
NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
I know my boy bands. Okay.
I'm a little upset that the only question you've gotten right, other than America Online, was about the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Hey, look, Matt, I just want it that way. Okay.
Which popular 90s heartthrob was the voice of Simba in The Lion King?
Jesse Carter?
Jesse Carter?
Aaron Carter, excuse me.
Aaron Carter? No.
Oh.
I don't even know any of the heartthrobs from the 90s.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I have no idea who that is.
I'm going to have to Google who that is.
Give me a good one. All right. Give me a good one.
In the movie Forrest Gump, what lines does Forrest famously say?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
You don't
Jenny.
Lieutenant Dan.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan ice cream.
You guys did get that one.
That's just I love me some Forrest Gump, okay?
You are Forrest.
I relate to him way too much, yeah.
I think you guys are going to get this one pretty easily, but we're going to go with it anyway. In the 1999 movie, the line "I see dead people" came from what movie?
Oh, the Sixth Sense.
Correct. I really hope you guys get this one. We might not be able to be friends if you don't.
Oh shit!
What is the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm bulldozzing these.
In the rom-com Clueless, who was the actress who portrayed Cher Horowitz?
Jennifer Aniston.
Actress's name.
Jennifer Aniston.
Can't even.
Jennifer Aniston. Courtney
That
Cox.
was Alicia Silverstone.
I don't even know who that is.
Jennifer Aniston? Are you fucking serious?
She's the only one I know.
Okay, so like I'm terrible with actresses and actors' names, but I at least know that.
Which company made Beanie Babies?
Beanie Babies LLC.
No,
Wasn't it an LLC though?
it might have been. I don't know.
It's the little red tag with something on it. I don't know.
There's 2 letters on it.
TM.
I was back at my bed like I fucking having fucking Beanie Baby on it.
They were Thai Beanie Babies. They were such a huge craze in the 90s. Like, people thought that they were going to be like super collectible. People bought hundreds and hundreds of these things.
Collectible. We had a shit ton of them growing up. I just don't remember who the fuck the company was. Riley, get the fuck down, dude.
Which Sesame Street character got its ticklish toy in the 90s?
Oh, Elmo.
Yeah.
We all know Elmo.
What is the butler's name in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, Joffrey.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that.
Underrated show. It's so good.
Underrated?
Underrated?
Yeah, I still watch it to this day. When was the last time you saw an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
I don't think anybody underrates The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, everybody loves the French Prince of Bel-Air.
What is the name of the popular furry toy in the 90s who some people thought was spying on them?
Furbies.
Furbies.
That is correct.
They
Where did
were.
the Simpsons live?
And
Not
Springfield.
thought that they were spying on them. They were spying.
They were spying on them. Simpsons live in Springfield.
That's correct.
State ungiven.
Mike Tyson bit off a portion of whose ear in a boxing match?
The Russian
That's a good
from
fucking
Rocky.
question. I have no fucking idea. I know
Evander
that he
Holyfield.
did. I just don't know who it was.
I didn't even know he did that.
Evander Holyfield. What's a baby G?
A baby G?
Baby G.
It's like a little gangster. Like if Gabe became a gangster.
It was actually a watch.
Baby G?
Yep. They were big in the 90s. It was actually a woman's watch. What is the name of...
G-Shock?
Huh?
Was it Woman's Watch of the G-Shock?
I actually think it was.
Huh. That makes sense.
What is the name of Jim Carrey's character that is a pet detective?
A pet detective?
Ace Ventura, Ace Ventura, pet detective. Yeah.
With these clues, name the movie. Hockey, Goldberg, Flying V.
The Mighty Ducks.
That is correct.
Fuck you, Thomas.
What number mambo did Lou Bega sing about?
I have no idea what any of those words fucking meant.
I've been speaking Spanish.
Yeah, honestly, it's just
It was a big song in the 90s, and it was called Mambo Number 5. Look it up. You've probably heard it quite a few.
Well, I think I need to listen to 1 through 4 first. Okay.
What 2 jersey numbers did Michael Jordan wear?
9 9 and 13? No.
11, right?
Or number 1.
Fuck, I have no.
I have no idea.
23 and 45. He wore 23 for his career with the Bulls, and when he came back and played with Charlotte, he started wearing 45.
Go sports ball. Yeah. Sports ball.
What MTV Music Countdown show did Carson Daly host?
I don't even know who Carson Daly is.
MTV had music?
Nah.
No, this was a music countdown show,
I have no
but it was called TRL, or Total Request Line. What?
To all the viewers, I'm so sorry. I was born in the late 90s.
What is Bone Thugs and Harmony?
It's a gay thing.
That's a sex thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a sex thing.
They were a band.
Still a sex.
Sex thing. Yeah, definitely still a sex thing. They were all having like a 5-way, and then they're like, oh, this would be a great name for our band.
What does Star 69 do?
Oh, recalls the number that just called you.
What does Star 67 do?
It makes it so that your call is not on caller ID.
Blocks the previous call.
Oh. Close. That was close.
Who was the principal of Bayside High School?
I never really watched Saved by the Bell.
Fuck.
I just know Zach Morris, and that's it.
On the tip of my fucking tongue. Like, out of all of these fucking questions.
I don't think Gabe's gotten any.
I've gotten a couple. Fuck you, Thomas. I can't think of it. Yeah.
Mr. Belding.
Oh, that does scratch something in here.
Listen, I was born in 98, so.
I watched a lot of Saved by the Bell.
I forget
So
you're so young.
one of my buddies actually has a Saved by the Bell sweatshirt that he wears.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that was the 90s quiz that I came up with.
I think I did okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I was
got
barely born in the 90s. So.
I probably got 95% of these when I was listening to them. So
I think I got like 45%.
I maybe got like 5%.
it happens. Happens to the best of us. So
Well,
that's a perfect segue into
is it? Riley's dancing in the background.
Well, Riley's currently attacking my my live studio audience. Yeah.
Speaking of live studio audiences, it is now time for questions.
Yes.
Would you guys like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I would actually like you to go first, because
Yeah.
I'm deciding between two.
I have no idea what
Right.
kind of questions I need to think. Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking about this for the last few days, and trying. This isn't really a generational thing, but I really just kind of want your guys' thoughts on it. So maybe I'm just an asshole, but if you guys go out somewhere, let's say you go to a restaurant and you run into somebody you know. Let's say you know who they are. You're not friends. You're not really even acquaintances. But you know who they are. They know who you are. Do you speak to that person? Do you say hi? Are you cordial? Or do you ignore them like they're anybody else out there?
Oh, I'll definitely say hi for like 30 seconds. Be like, all right, I'm going to get back to my dinner. And then, unless I really like them.
Yes. I would agree with Thomas. It depends on how much I know them. This has actually happened to me on one of my dates.
Oh.
It depends on how much you know them. Obviously, if you're just like a coworker or you kind of know them, just walk up and say hi. But if you're good friends, say hi, talk a little bit, and then go back to whatever the fuck you're doing, or whoever the fuck you're there with. But I think it would depend on fucking chill the fuck out. Sorry, my dog was trying to eat my hand. But it depends on how much you know that person, right? So like if you only know them a little bit, say hi. Don't be a fucking dick.
Well, I'm a dick and I don't say hi to people.
What if you saw me at a restaurant?
Well, you're different. Like, I know you, we talk, we're friends. If I saw you, I would come up and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing in the state and not telling me?
That's fair. What if it was a
Well,
surprise?
that's fair because you're like fucking 12 hours away, 14 hours.
I think it's 18.
16.
Yeah.
It's 16.
16? Okay.
Yeah.
I was close.
But, so we went out for lunch today, and I saw a guy. He was a year younger than me in high school. We weren't friends in high school. I know his name. I know who he is. I haven't seen the guy in probably 5 to 10 years. And the last time I saw him, if anything, it was a, hey, and that's about it. Like,
but did he know who you were, though?
He didn't say anything. Like, had he come up and said, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I mean, it's not like I would have just been like, get the fuck out of here. But he didn't come over and say hi to me. So whether he recognized me or not, I couldn't tell you. I knew who he was, but at the exact same time, like, I haven't had a reason to talk to you for the last 10 years. Nothing's changed because we're eating at the same restaurant.
Yeah, it's not going to start today.
We don't have a reason to have a conversation. You know?
I think that's fair, though. I think that, like, you know, if you're not sure if they recognize you, then you can make a small wave and you would be covered from your end.
Do the...
Yeah. I did neither of those things. I just ignored them.
If you don't really know someone, it's the, hey. If you know someone, it's the, the head nod. It matters.
No, if you know someone, it's the up nod. If you don't know someone, it's the down nod.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think I've been fucking that up for years.
I don't think it really matters. I don't think there's a set rule with it.
The white people smile.
Well, it's not really a smile. It's just
if I give you a white people smile and a nod, that means don't come over and talk to me. Hey, I see you, and I'm choosing to keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
And not at you. So we don't need to have a conversation. If I said hello, that is engaging in conversation.
That's good enough for you.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I also don't really care to speak to people most of the time. So yeah, that was my big question, is because I'm like, am I just an asshole and don't want to talk to people? Which don't get me wrong, I fully believe that I am. But I just am curious how other people go through that.
I get that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because do I just have a good enough memory where I remember a lot of people? Maybe they don't remember me. Maybe I'm that forgettable. I don't know.
You're
I
unforgettable.
remember faces a lot more than I remember names. So it was the other day, like, okay, I say it the other day like it was fucking yesterday, but it was like last month at some point. I remember this guy's face, but I didn't remember his name, and he actually came up to me, and he was like, hey, I remember you from this training, and then we ended up having a conversation. But I didn't remember his name, so I couldn't essentially initiate that conversation with him, right? So it kind of just depends. I think it's more situational than anything else, right?
Yeah.
See, yeah, because I would definitely, like, if there was somebody that I wanted to have a conversation with, like, if we went to a same class together or same training or something like that, for sure. But, like, this person that I ran into today, we have nothing in common other than we grew up in the same city, we went to the same high school, like, but I just have no reason to talk to him. So it's like...
Well, were you guys friends at some point?
No. Nope.
Okay, well then I don't think you have any obligation to him.
0. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, we were never friends. Like, we knew some of the same people, and we might be at the same parties, but it wasn't like we were doing shots together or, anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think you have any obligation to him. Yeah.
Unless you're, like, lonely. and you want human interaction, then I guess.
I am the exact opposite. I try to avoid human interaction. So
I get that. My question for you is actually not an advice question. It's a hypothetical question.
Mhm.
If you could pick one wild, crazy, bananas animal to have as a pet that would never harm you or your family, which animal would you pick?
if I could have one wild, crazy animal to have as a pet,
I would have a grizzly bear. I would have a pet grizzly bear.
Really?
On
A
standby.
bear? Out of all things?
On standby, a pet bear. No one would fuck with my house if I had a pet bear. And look at how soft those fucking ears are.
But is it about is it about self-defense? Is
It's
it about
whatever animal you want.
am I using it for utility purposes?
You can. If you have a giraffe and you need help putting up Christmas lights, I'm sure he can give you a hand.
Oh, that's a loaded question because there's a lot of cool animals out there.
There are.
Yeah, none of them cooler than
Okay,
a fucking bear.
no matter what animal we talk about, like they're cool, right? They're not gonna fuck up anything, right?
Yep.
Fuck.
Does it have to be like just one, or could it be like if they're normally like a group?
Nope, just one.
Just one. Okay. Well, I hate cats, so there's all lions are out.
What?
I know, right? Who the fuck hates cats? Cats literally rock.
Okay, well,
they don't.
Cats in general, but
go fuck yourself.
But if I had the opportunity to have a giant fucking cat that wouldn't fuck up my family, the possibility for a cat is exponentially increased. Like, I'm thinking, do I pick a tiger or do I pick like some fucking random ass animal from Asia?
What are you picking, Matt?
I'm gonna go with a polar bear.
Oh wow, you just had to be white, huh? Okay.
Duh. I mean,
technically, polar bear's fur is not white. It is, what do you call it? Fucking translucent. Look it up. Fuck, it's a Googleable question.
Aren't all questions Googleable?
It's not white.
So,
Gabe, what animal would you pick?
I think personally, I would pick I don't know what they're called, but like I don't know what scientifically they're called, but like the snow tigers, like the white tigers.
I think those are just albino tigers.
No.
They don't have red eyes.
No. Not albino, but like the snow tigers, like
the Siegfried ones, the Siegfried and Roy ones,
striped tigers. That's probably what I would.
Okay.
I could see Gabe going with a liger.
I could see that.
Hold on, Riley just dropped his toy in my lap.
No, I mean, because there's a lot of good options. You know, like, do I keep like a moose around? Because and they're huge. I could fucking ride it around places.
But you do have to clean up after it.
Well, and that's kind of why, I can eat a lot of meat and then throw a lot of meat to a polar bear.
Good. And they're omnivorous, so they can eat berries and plants.
Exactly.
And stuff, so.
Right, and and the reason I went with a polar bear versus a grizzly bear is obviously I live in the north, so I mean it gets cold enough up here for a polar bear. They might not get some penguins and seals like they're used to, but we'll teach it to hunt a deer
or a moose. You guys get moose, right?
We do not get moose here. If we do, there's something weird.
That's so fucking weird to me. Okay, well,
Gabe, do you have a question for Matt?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so like I've been watching a couple of YouTube channels recently, and I kind of feel like the popular thing right now is like what's your dad advice for like new dads, or like even if they don't have a kid yet? What's your like most you want to get this out to every man possible before they're a dad of one or a dad of two? Like what's your dad advice?
Probably the most important advice that I think is for anybody who's going to have children is have children with the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with.
That's a given.
That's fair.
It's not a given.
It's not
It's
not
like-
in modern America.
It's really not.
Yeah.
Like it's your life is going to be 1,000 times easier if you are with the mother of your children. And if you love her and are devoted to her, like that, yeah, that is the number one thing that I would say. Like, you can fuck up a lot of things as a dad. You can be a lot of stupid shit, but as long as I'd say the first and most important thing is be with their mom, because then you get to be in every aspect of your kid's life. You get to be there day in and day out. It's not 50% of the time. It's not every other weekend. You get to be a full-time dad. And that to me, as a dad, is the most important thing, is being there all the time, because I think that means a lot to kids.
Can I ask you a secondary question?
You sure can, buddy. We'll give you two. Since Thomas was so dumb.
I know, yeah, right. So, to any of the young men that are viewing this, how would you make yourself, if you were talking to 18, 17-year-old self, how would you make yourself the most valuable to a young woman to make sure that you can be the father to your child, your children, right? How can you make yourself the most valuable as a husband or a father?
How can you make yourself the most valuable as a husband or a father? Well, I would say one important thing is finding a woman that has the same values as you. Because, a lot of times we don't really think about some of that. And, as we said, earlier, like finding a woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with, and a lot of people don't do that. Like, it's amazing what happens when you find somebody who you're in love with and, the timing is right. But I would say the most important thing that you can do for you to be the most valuable is be happy with who you are. Work on you. Control you. You can't control what she likes. You can't control what she wants. You can't control her values. You can't make those decisions for her. But you can control them for yourself. You can make sure that you're happy in life. Make sure that you're happy with who you are, with what you're doing. And if you're not happy, you can fucking change it. And you can make it so you are happy and figure out what makes you happy. And I would say that's the most important thing is like, make sure that you're happy and comfortable. And like, it's not where you need somebody else there to make you happy. You're happy and they just add to it.
Look at that dad advice.
All right, that's fucking good. I fucking like it.
And don't go to college. Go get a fucking tech degree or a technological degree.
Go to college if you want to be a physicist. There's reasons to go, or a doctor.
Go be a physicist.
Or a doctor. You kind of have to go to college for that.
If you're going to be a doctor, yes, go to college. If you want to be a lawyer, go to college. If you want to be a computer programmer and make money, don't go to college.
Don't go to college.
If you want to just fucking go deer hunting and, live a good life, go be a plumber. Go be a fucking welder. Go be an IT person. Figure out something that's somewhat something that you like to do. If you like to work with your hands, don't waste your money on college. You can make so much money doing so much shit.
But Matt,
Also, if you like people, don't get into emergency medical.
don't get into the medical field in general if you like people.
No.
But Matt, so if you don't go to college, what about the bitches?
What about the bitches?
That's the bitches' time, Matt.
So can you not go to college? If you're not in college, are you not allowed to go on campus and meet bitches? Can you not go to college parties?
I don't know.
Can you not throw a college party?
No, because you're not in college. It's just a party. It's just an adult party.
You're obviously not getting what I'm saying.
I understand. I'm just being.
I grew up next to a university in Sioux Falls. Grew up. When we were like 18, 19 years old, we would just walk around with a case of beer and find a party and go to it. We didn't know anybody. We would meet girls. We'd have a great time. We'd get thrown out. We'd get in fights. We'd meet women. It was a great time. Just because you're not in college doesn't mean you can't party with college girls.
I guess that's fair. I guess you would have more money.
Yeah.
To buy beer. More beer money. Okay, but we are at time, gentlemen. So this has been awesome. Gabe, I loved having you on today. It was amazing.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. Hell yeah.
Go spend time with your live studio audience. She deserves it.
Yes. So this was an episode of Sammies and Beer. Our guest star tonight was Gabe. Gabe, we appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Hell yeah. Thank you for asking me to come on like last night.
Well, we decided to do this last night to make our makeup.
We weren't really sure when we were going to get our Thursday episode in, so it worked out well.
Listen, if you guys ever want me on again to talk about anything, just fucking let me know.
Oh, I will.
All right.
All right. Well, final words from you, Thomas.
Goodbye, good luck, and go fuck yourself.
Will do, Thomas. Fuck yeah.
All right. I hope your week is as awesome as you are. Toodles.